This is the Self-Aware Leader Podcast. Now your host, Jason Rigby.
What is going on, guys? It's been a while. Still having some health issues. Had to have surgery on some melanoma on my leg, and then the stitches popped, and then it got infected. So I have like a 8-inch section that was wide open. Now I've got a patch on there that suctions out to heal the wound. It's got all kinds of things going on. So I got tubes hooked to my legs and everything else. So I have had an opportunity, because I haven't been able to hardly walk, and it's been painful, to become more self-aware. And these are learning lessons that I'm going through. And one of the things that I began to really delve into, and that's the work of Dan Sullivan. And he has a website, The Strategic Coach, or you can go to strategiccoach.com. And there's books that are out there. He's written books with Dr. Benjamin Hardy, I think it's the last name. But he has a book about having a 10X mindset. And I study Grant Cardone. I've read his books, love all his stuff. He kind of has a view of 10X being doing more, doing a ton more. Just what you're doing now, 10X that, you can do way more. Dan Sullivan kind of has a different approach, and I'm not saying any of them are wrong. Sometimes I think in life that we need to stop making excuses and go harder. I agree 100%. Love that book. I have a whole section. I'll talk about it, how Grant Cardone, I personally met him. I've talked to him and his wife, and how he's helped me tremendously when I was homeless and got my first sales job at a car dealership. And his work has helped me tremendously and got me to where I'm at. But I do love this view of what a 10X mindset is. And he has a few things, and you can get this for free on the Strategic Coach website. He talks about the advantages of a 10X mindset. And number one, he talks about greater ROI, or return on investment. If someone will never contribute to a 10X result, you know it's not worth your time, attention, or effort. So the 10X, the whole idea of this is to eliminate, the Pareto principle, to eliminate that 80% that doesn't lead to anything in your life. The 20% of the things that you're doing is what's leading to the 10X of your life. And to get a 10X, you're going to have to refocus and re-look at your whole life, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and what that looks like if you went seriously 10X. And then what can you eliminate out of your life, the 80% that would get you that 10X? Because there's a lot of things that you're doing that may seem good, but they're not the best for you. Now, I would take it from a spiritual perspective and say my higher self is the 10X. So how can I align with my higher self, that future self, and say, hey, I know this is where I need to be. I know this is who I truly am, this eternal being, and that has no limits. There's abundance there, not scarcity. And so that's 10X for me, or 100X, or whatever you want. So this is how I need to operate in that. And I think self-awareness is doing that, is looking in and seeing your higher self, seeing that greater ROI. And if I'm not going to get a 10X result out of it, then why would I even do it? So think about that. So somebody comes to you and say, hey, I've got a great business idea. Let's do this, this, and this. You're like, well, I'm kind of not that interested, but the money looks good. Was it 10X money? And are you going to be 10X passionate about it? So saying no is really important. And next is constant learning and improvement. Every change, he says, is for a specific reason. It will make things faster, easier, cheaper, or bigger. You zero in on the strategies and tools that help you learn from and accelerate your progress. Now, this is really important because a lot of times we won't take the time to work on ourselves. We just think more is better and do. But if something's not really working, why would you 10X what's not working? Do you see what I'm saying? You've got to look and find, how can I do this faster, easier, cheaper, and bigger? What are the strategies and tools I need to bring into my life to be able to handle that? For me, especially with the podcast, it's allowing somebody else to be able to do all the work, the posting and all the social media stuff, and putting it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all these places all around the world. I want somebody else to handle all that. And I do have somebody to handle that. I don't want to have to deal with things that I really don't want to do. It's not going to help me in my creativity. And that's my strength. That's me at 10X, is being able to take the time to think and gain the knowledge. And then in that knowledge, get the intuition of my creativity in where I need to be with macro thinking for business, for the jobs that I do, for the 4 podcasts that I do. All of these things, I need to focus on who I am at my higher self and then operate into that. So the strategies that I'm going to employ, the systems that I'm going to put out there, and Rob Dyrdek, if you want to know about systems, the skater dude, remember him? That's like almost a billionaire now, from the systems that he's put to optimize his life. And go to his podcast, and you will see exactly what he's talking about. And then how do I accelerate this? So, okay, what do I need to do? Well, for me, how do I accelerate the podcast? If I want to look at that, let's just look at this. How do I accelerate the podcast? Well, I can do more episodes. I can do 10 episodes a day. Well, that's not going to work. How about I have better content? How about I talk to people and find out what true needs are that are out there, what people are hurting with, what people need the most. And then I share those things with you guys. How about I be more honest and open? How about I invite my higher self to come in when I do these podcasts, not try to do them in my ego? And I think that right there does the 10X. So constant learning and improvement. You should always be learning and improving. And what are you going to learn and improve on? And how are you going to learn? Not just reading books that you want to read and then you have learning and improvement. See, there's no outcome or goal with that. And then what are the strategies and tools that's going to take you 10X? How are you going to become that person? If you identified what that person looks like, what are you wearing? What are you driving? What house do you have? Who are you with? What are the friends that you have? You need to visualize this hardcore, what the you 10X looks like. And then learn and improve till you get there. Next, more energy. Your 10X progress motivates and energizes you and everyone around you. Have you ever been around somebody like this? I have. And I hope I'm that way when I love it when I'm around somebody that I can learn from. I love it when I'm around somebody that gets me pumped up for entrepreneurship. I love it. It's exciting to me. That's why I listen to all these podcasts, because I can't be around Ed Milet. And to me, I think he's probably the top of the tier as far as having that good energy and then telling people how much he appreciates them and what their talents and gifts and abilities are. He's amazing at that. And if you haven't listened to him, listen to him with the guest. Right off the bat, he tells them how amazing they are, who they are, what their talents and abilities are, what their gift is to the world, and how he's been affected by it personally. John Maxwell is really good at that too. The leadership guru. And if you've listened to my podcast and you've heard me talk about John Maxwell, he is the man. Make more. If you're 10X, you're going to have tons of energy, and that you're going to be able to give that energy. People are going to come and plug into you. You're going to be that charging port, that Tesla charging port, where 10 other Teslas are going to be able to charge into you. 10 other leaders are going to be able to come in and be like, "Hey boss, I'm kind of feeling down here. Well, let's do a coaching session real quick." Okay, perfect. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you, boss. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Now I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. You motivate others. That's the more energy with the 10X mindset. Next is better teamwork. A 10X focus quickly highlights each person's unique strengths and shows how these abilities need to contribute to one another and the company. You have to be able to have teamwork. You've got to be able, as a leader, not to be the lone wolf and have teams in place with systems that are in place that can scale. That's how you 10X. What does that look like? Take the current team that you have now. Maybe you have 2 employees, 10 employees, 100 employees, whatever it is. And what does that look like? I have this sales team, or I have this accounting team, whatever it may be. I'm the CFO and I have 10 accountants. Well, what do I want the revenue to look like? Well, how do I need to get there? What do I need to do? What conversation should I have with the CEO and the CMO and the CTO? Better teamwork. That's how you scale, is having people that are pumped up and excited to work for you and view you as their leader and are happy to work for you, to give their all to you. That's how you scale. It's not you doing more. I see this, especially in small businesses. I see this over and over and over again. People just think they need to do everything and do more. That doesn't work. You have to have a team. And you need to get to the point to where you're not even operating the business. That's the goal. It's for you to be in France, in the south of France, and making money, right? And then start another business and have that business going. And then next is a new normal. You find it incomparably easier to stay focused on growing your business and your life. This is the normal. It's easy for you to grow. It's not hard for you to grow. You don't have to put in 80 hours a week. You're putting in 10, 15, 20 hours a week, and your businesses, plural, are growing. That way you can focus on doing the things that you want. You want to have a 2-hour workout session. You want to be able to not just work out for 30, 45 minutes and do 20 minutes of cardio, but you want to be able to have a cold plunge at your house and a sauna at your house. And you want to take the time to get a massage therapist that comes. Your trainer leaves and a massage therapist comes in. You want to be able to have all this. That's what 10X life looks like. And that may take you 2 or 3 hours in the morning. The chef is making you breakfast. And then he leaves with his lunch and dinners that he set up for you in the fridge ready to go. What's your new normal? What does a 10X normal look like for you? So I need to have mornings all for me. And I don't want to get up early. I want to get up at 7:30. And I want to have the morning all for me. I don't want to start work till 11:30. Okay. That's a system. That's all that is. You can have that freedom. You don't have to get up and start working on emails at 5 a.m. What is your 10X new normal? And then he puts 5 questions to kickstart your 10X advantage. And these are great questions for me, always lead to self-awareness. And this is what I love. I always stop, take the time to coach myself, to ask myself questions constantly. Why are you feeling this way, Jason? Why do you feel like you're jealous right now? You just started talking to this person. You don't even know him and you're feeling jealous. Why are you feeling angry while you're in traffic right now? You have no control of the traffic. Why are you feeling angry? What's really going on? Oh, you're pressed for time. Well, why are you pressed for time? Oh, because you didn't plan this out right. You were going to be late anyways, and now the traffic just made it. You were going to be on time or 5 minutes late, and now you're really late. But you should have planned for that. Not the traffic, obviously. But you should have. This is how I talk to myself, guys. Here are 5 questions to kickstart your 10X advantage. What in your life supports 10X? What doesn't support 10X? So once you get clear on who you are as a person, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and the goals and the things that you want at 10X, I'll give you an example. My 4 podcasts, 10X, I want all of them making $25,000 a month with sponsorships. So 4 podcasts making $25,000 a month. That's what I want. At 10X. So what in life supports that? Well, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to read books, write books, have conversations, do coaching on leadership. This is what I want to do. I have a spiritual podcast, Higher Density Living. I have a Tartle podcast, which talks about technology and data. I have a Recovered Addict podcast, which talks about addictions, whether you have food addictions, porn addictions, alcohol, drugs, whatever type of addiction you may have. Maybe you're addicted to work. We talk about all types of addictions. That's Recovered Addict podcast. So I have 4 podcasts. That keeps me busy. That's what I want to do. What in my life supports that? What doesn't support that? Eliminate those things. Or work to make a system where you can slowly eliminate that out of your life. What's lacking in your life that you require in order to go 10X? This is a great question, guys. Listen to me. What's lacking in your life that you require, keyword, in order to go 10X? Maybe you're single. And so you're spending all your time on dating apps. Maybe you need to say, hey, I'm going to be single for a year or 2 because I'm going to go 10X. Or you know what? I'm going to start looking for a partner and settle down, but I'm only going to date every 2 weeks. I'm going to set myself up a date, but I'm only going to date people that are looking at having a serious relationship. And I'm going to put that in my dating app. I'm going to put in my dating app that I'm looking for a serious relationship, an entrepreneur partner. I'm going to be honest about what I want. And then that's going to filter out. And I'm only going to get a few messages instead of being interrupted constantly by 1,000. I'm not going to do hookups anymore. I'm not going to hook up with people anymore This is what I'm going to do. Whatever that looks like in your life, maybe the job that you're at right now is not the job that you need to be at. Maybe you need to take lesser money, sell the house, sell the fancy car, let your wife know this is what I need to do to be passionate about. And this is where I know somebody this. I knew somebody that wanted to be a brewer, but he was making $100,000. And instead, you know what he did? He jumped his pay down. He bumped it down. I'm saying that because it's a good thing, to $4,000 a month and making $48,000. He lived in an apartment with his wife. But he was so pumped because he was excited about what he was doing. Guess what he ended up doing? He ended up starting a brewery, and now he's a multimillionaire. What is lacking in your life that you require in order to go 10x? Next, what knowledge, skills, habits, or capabilities do you currently have that you can maximize right now? What knowledge do you have? What skills, habits, or capabilities that you have? Maybe you go to the gym all the time and you're really disciplined with that. And you've kind of beat that. The physical part you're doing pretty good at. Well, how can you maximize that right now in other areas of your life? Well, you need to tell yourself, well, I need to get as disciplined as I'm doing this. Physically, I'm doing this and I'm really disciplined, but I'm not disciplined in this. So I know that I'm disciplined. I know I 10x myself and my body. So I know I can do that. So I'm going to take that win. Like for me, I was 50 pounds heavier than what I am now. I know I did that. I disciplined myself for years. It's been like 4 years now. I've disciplined myself. Ate fairly good. I eat really pretty clean. And this is where I'm at. And I'm 50 years old and I look good. So guess what? I know I can take that discipline into other areas of my life. So I can take that knowledge, skill, and habit and put it to maximize other areas. And you need to ask your question and find that out. How can you do that right now? And that leads to the next question. Where have you gone 10x before? What did you learn? You need to go back in your life and find this. I was homeless. I 10x myself in a sales job, selling cars. I 10x'd. I went from zero money, nothing, to making over $100,000 a year selling cars. That's 10x. It's going from nothing, having no house, no nothing, homeless. I wasn't doing drugs or anything, but I was homeless, to 10x. I've done this before. What did I learn? That's a process. You need to ask yourself these self-aware questions. And then finally, what teamwork, tools, or technology will be essential into going 10x? Who do I need on my team? What do I need to do with my team? Do I need to fire 2 or 3 people? What tools do I need to go 10x? How do I need to scale? How can I go 10x? What tools do I need? And then what technology? What is essential? Essential is a key word. Not the things that you want, the things that are essential to go 10x. Eliminate the 80%. Get rid of the 80%. I really don't need this employee. Okay, fire them. That frees up capital for what? To 10x in other areas of your life. Maybe you need to go to a conference and you've been wanting to go to that conference. Now that you've fired that employee that's not doing shit for you, now what can you do? Well, you have money that's available to be able to go to this conference. Whatever it is, you have to come up with these decisions. You need to ask yourself these questions. These are so important. And go through, review this, write these down.